Chapter 3. Soil is a Mind. We stood in silence at the edge of a small clearing. I say clearing, but it wasn't empty. Beneath our feet, something was breathing. Not lungs, not wind, a deeper breath. Slow, ancient, and everywhere. Bombadil knelt, as if listening. He placed both hands on the ground, eyes closed. I followed, unsure of what I was listening for. But the moment I pressed my palms to the soil, I felt it. It was thinking, not in words, not like us, but in pulses, in pattern, in rhythm. The soil was alive. People think soil is just dirt, Bombadil said softly. But dirt is what's left when the mind dies. He opened his palm and let a pinch of black earth fall between his fingers. It was rich, damp, and smelled like rain on stone. But I saw more than texture. I saw a microcosm. Threads, dots, shimmering shapes shifting just beneath the surface. A hidden city, invisible but burning with life. This, he said, is a neural net, a memory, a language spoken in chemistry and decay. He dug into the earth with his hands, then held up a dense cube of soil that held its shape like sponge cake. You want to grow cannabis, he said, but first you must understand where you're growing it. He tapped the cube. This, he said, is a mind, millions of voices, each with a purpose, each in conversation. He pointed out what I couldn't see, but somehow knew was there. Bacteria, replicating fast, processing sugars, making decisions at microbial speed. Fungi, threading through it all, building highways of nutrient exchange. Protozoa, hunting bacteria, recycling nitrogen as they moved. Worms, churning everything they touched into bioavailable gold. Archaea, muttering in ancient molecular languages beneath it all. He looked up at me with a solemn gaze. This is not a medium. This is intelligence. Living, shifting, remembering. Then he turned. We walked a few steps to a darker patch of earth, almost black, flecked with charcoal and shimmering fragments. This, he said, is Terra Preta. The name echoed through me like a drum hit underwater. Dark earth, he explained, made by human hands, not just to grow food, but to feed the soil's soul. Charcoal, compost, bone, ash, broken pottery, layered over generations. These weren't just gardens. They were memory engines. He dug with his fingers, careful, reverent. Then he found something. A piece of broken pottery, smooth on one side, charred, the edges scalloped with symbols, or maybe fingerprints. He held it in the light. They left these, he said, so the earth wouldn't forget their hands. He passed it to me. It felt warm, like it had been waiting. Not just an object, an instruction. Even now, the soil outperforms anything modern science can make. Why? Because the people who made it listened. He turned his attention to a steaming compost pile nearby. Layers of leaf mold, manure, and straw breaking down in rhythmic heat. Decay, he said, is not the end. It's the invitation. He reached into the pile and pulled out a handful of blackened pulp, thick with worms and fungal strands. Fungi eat death, Bombadil said, and give birth to fertility. He crouched low, pressed his hand to the earth, and placed his other hand over my chest. Now, he said, look beneath. And I fell, not down, but inward. Suddenly, I was inside the soil, but not as myself. Smaller, atomic, bacterium small. The world was vast, wet, warm. Structures towered over me, fungal filaments glowing with bioelectric charge, like train lines pulsing with current. Worms passed by like whales. Protozoa drifted like jellyfish, blinking with digestive intent. Everything was moving, trading, shifting, breathing. It wasn't chaos. It was harmony. A kind of humming symphony where every cell knew its part. This was the soil's mind. Not abstract, not metaphor, real. I returned gasping, eyes open, heart pounding. Bombadil watched me carefully. Do you see now? He asked. I nodded. I could barely speak. We built soil together that night, not by formula, but by feel. We gathered charred wood, crushed bone, worm castings, leaf mold, clay dust, aloe and seaweed, rotten fruit, straw, comfrey, fish guts, old tea leaves, shards of pottery like the one he had shown me. We layered, we turned, we waited, we listened. Add charcoal, he said, so the microbes have shelter. Add molasses, he said, to feed their joy. Add patience, he said, because the soil is smarter than you. Later, beside the fire, he handed me a vial, glass, stoppered, full of the soil we had just made. Sprinkle this where you grow, he said. It's not fertilizer, it's a conversation starter. I looked into the soil like it might speak, and maybe it did. Before I left, Bombadil's voice turned grim. There are others, he said, who do not listen, who do not feed the mind. They strip the soil, kill the microbes, silence the network. He didn't say their names, but I could feel it. The silent growers. The ones who want control without relationship, outcome without reverence, yield without memory. He looked me in the eye. You are not one of them, he said, unless you forget. That night, lying awake in my own bed, I held the shard of pottery in my hand and whispered the only word that seemed right. Remember.